Can we just be like real for a second in 2025? We're pretty much cooked at this point. Like, it's do or die right now in America. And I'm not talking about in like any kind of, I'm not talking about a movie. I mean, we're literally there. Like, it's do or die right now. The system has literally been dismantled. I mean, all the cracks are showing in the system right now. The old safety nets that we used to have, we don't have anymore. They're pretty much gone. They're dead and buried. The worst part of it, people don't even realize, more people are waking up, but a lot of people are still asleep. You know that feeling like we're living through a slow motion collapse? That's kind of because we are living through a slow motion collapse right now. See, in 2012, when I think it was 2012, when 2012 and the Hunger Games came out, I used to think that was a movie, just like you. I remember seeing the Hunger Games in high school. I went to high school I graduated in 2012, but in 2012 I saw the Hunger Games for the first time, and I went to see that movie with my classmates, and I was just like, this is just like absolutely fucking insane. This is absolutely fucking insane. Like, you had the rich elites, and then you had all the poor people, and the games were, where everybody was fighting each other over resources, food, water, shelter, and the rich elite were all on thrones and carriages and ruling over the poor plebs, aka us, the proles, the poor class, the what pretty much 90% of us are right now, right? The poor class, the non-wealthy class, because right now it's the middle class is done for. It's dismantled. It's over. It's capiche. It's done. The middle class is over. It's all but been dismantled. This 2030 project that the WEF was talking about is real. It wasn't some joke. It wasn't something that was made up. I mean, this is real life, and it's happening right in front of our eyes. And thankfully, most people are starting to wake up from it. But this is real shit. Like, this 2026 and going beyond, like, if you don't start getting your shit together right now, if you don't start a business right now, it's gonna get bad for you. But here's here's the thing, right? So it's not all bad, but it's pretty much, it's not good either. So going into what happened with the government shutdown, I'm going to go into that, in case anybody knows. So the government, they have come to a conclusion. The Democrats and the Republicans have come to a conclusion. So here's what actually happened between the Democrats and the Republicans. And I'm not going to explain it with a bunch of political BS or anything like that, but I'm just going to explain what I have personally heard. That's been going on with the Democrats and Republicans, what they came to. So a few weeks ago, the U.S. government, they basically ran out of money. They had to pass what's called a funding bill to keep the government open, like paying federal workers, obviously, because the federal workers were not getting paid. That's a big problem, as you can tell, because everything's pretty much gone to shit since the federal workers are not paid, and for good reason. If I was a federal worker and I wasn't getting paid, I would not be fucking working. So they passed a funding bill to keep the government open for paying federal workers, running programs and keeping essential services alive. So the Republicans, essentially, they said, to my knowledge, they said,
You've probably heard the word Hunger Games from a movie, or probably through an article, or probably through a lecture, right? Well, this word might sound dramatic to you. You need to understand that in its totality, this is what is happening in the United States today. And there's this gentleman called deconstructing narcissism. I was really trying to talk about this. I want you to go check out his channel. He's really have a good explanation trying to just talking to people in regards to this. And this tells you that people are really tired And people are starting to see the United States for what it is. I believe this is not the first person you're seeing coming out and speaking out the truth. We have truth tellers today that are coming out and talking about these issues, talking about everything that is going on today in the United States, everything that we're observing. And this makes sense because it has reached a point where these cannot be hidden. It is up there. Everyone is saying this. So the Hunger Games, the Hunger Games have really started in the United States. So when people say that America has officially entered the Hunger Games, they are not just using dramatic language. They are describing a society where survival is increasingly determined by inequality and the elite interest. In the film, the wealthy capital lives in extremely luxury while the district suffers poverty, surveillance, anger, and forced competition. Today, US reflects this model. The richest Americans have accumulated unprecedented wealth, while millions struggling with rising food insecurities, unaffordable housing, broken healthcare, and shrinking wages. This metaphor captures a fundamental breakdown of the social contract, where the government no longer prioritizes the well being of ordinary citizens, but instead it protects the profits and power of a small elite. This shift makes survival feels like a deadly arena and not a functional nation. Brothers and sisters, buckle up for this video. As you know, I'm your host and presenter Agentic Stories. So let's watch the video. I'll be back and then I'll be sharing my thoughts. Let's keep the truth rolling, right? So I'm your number one host, Eugene Stories. So let's keep watching. I'll be back.
They're going to pass a bill. They said, we'll pass a bill, but we're not going to include certain things like extra healthcare funding. And apparently the Democrats, they said, no, we're not signing anything unless you're including the extra healthcare funding because millions of Americans need it, right? We all know how expensive healthcare is. It makes perfect sense that the Democrats would be fighting for that. So apparently they went back and forth for a few weeks, and the federal workers weren't getting paid. Like I said, shit was a disaster. I was watching a video. I think it was yesterday. I was watching a video where the flight attendants were pissed off because of how much gas they had to waste for the planes, and TSA workers were not working, and airport workers are not working, and the lines are through the roof. I don't know. The last time I checked, it was 20% or whatever, for the wait times to get on a plane, or the cancellations were like 20% or cancellations. And the wait times are crazy. But anyway, going back to the agreement that the Democrats and Republicans came to. So they went back and forth fighting for a few weeks. Everything was closed down. Country was in limbo. So after all that pressure, the Senate came up with a deal, a temporary one, of course. So basically they said, we're going to reopen the government and we'll deal with the healthcare issue later. And that's where things got bad. Because that really didn't solve anything if you think about it. So they said, let's open the government and we'll deal with the healthcare issue later. And that's essentially what happened. So 8 Democrats voted with Republicans to pass it. And so the government reopened, but nothing really got fixed, right? So government reopened and nothing got fixed. And the left are calling the Democrats spineless cowards, as well as the right. And nothing really got fixed, and a lot of people suffered. The good news is the federal workers are apparently getting back pay. Apparently $10,000 plus in back pay. So I mean, that is a plus, right? But other than that, the government reopened, but nothing really got fixed. The Democrats kind of bended the knee, so that sucks. And the healthcare issue was kicked down the road, like most things are kicked down the road in this country. So I think that's why a lot of people on the left are calling the left spineless, and as well as a lot of people on the right are calling the right spineless. Other than that, this is a temporary fix, right? I believe this is like till like January. This is like the government's going to reopen. It's going to stay reopened till January. Correct me if I'm wrong. Till like January 2026, I believe it's going to stay open for like a month or something like that. But this is a temporary fix nonetheless, right? But other than that, going into a different topic besides the government, because we just talked about the government. Things are bad. Oh, excuse me, guys. This car is bad. This car is horrible. Things are bad. That pretty much just put that would pretty much just put a Band-Aid on the wound, right? What they did. It's not going to fix anything. It didn't really resolve anything. A lot of people suffered. A lot of people went without pay. And yes, they say they're going to get back pay, but is that really going to happen? Well, only time will tell. So, again, every time there's a shutdown, federal workers suffer, other people suffer, families suffer who depend on those benefits. And it's just a shit show. It's just a nightmare. And in the end, people suffer. So what is this leading me to? So the system can't protect you anymore. We were raised to believe that if we just go to school, we get a good job, we study, we do everything we were supposed to. We do everything society tells us to do. That's what we were always told to do. That's what I was told to do. That's what you were told to do. That's what everybody was told to do. Stay in school, get good grades, study, you'll get a good job, you'll get the house, you'll get the car, you'll get the wife, you'll get yada, 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 etc. But that world's dead and gone. The world where people cared about each other, the world where you were supposed to get a house and a car and have a normal job and live on Main Street and live a normal life and be able to afford groceries and have block parties and interact with neighbors and make friends, that's all dead and gone. Social media killed all that, but that's another story. So if you're still depending on somebody, if you're still depending on an employer to take care of your situation, to take care of your financial crisis, you got another thing coming. I never thought that I would, honestly, I never thought that I would say this, because I made videos talking about why I think starting a business isn't an ideal situation. But with the way the economy is looking, with how fast AI is advancing, it's advancing at such a rapid rate. Like, really, it just fucking blows my mind compared to how it looked in 2023 versus now. You're not gonna have much time left. I don't have much time left to figure my shit out. We don't have much time left to figure this shit out. Next year, if you think even for a fucking second that next year is going to be any better than this year, you're in for a rude awakening. Things are going to get horrible next year. We haven't seen nothing yet. We still have yet to feel the effects of these tariffs, all these tariffs that are passing. You think inflation's high now? You think AI is bad now? Oh my God! Wait till next year. Wait till Q1 or mid-year, or wait till the end of 2026 and see how bad it is. What about 2027, 2028? It'd be unrecognizable. Oh my! The world is going to be unrecognizable 2 years from now. It's already unrecognizable, but 2 years, it's going to be a disaster, guys. It really is. You better start figuring out something quick. You better start trying to figure out a way to make money online. You better start trying to build your own business. You better learn a trade and figure out a way you can sell it. If you can, if you want to do that, if you can do that. Except you better be really, really good, because people don't have money in this economy. But if you don't have a YouTube started right now, if you don't have some kind of online income started right now, or you don't have a business that you've been working on for many years right now, or you don't have any of that, and you got to start. You got to start. It's you don't have much time. I don't even think you have another year. I really don't think you have another year. I don't even think I have another year. I think we have you might have another 6 to 8 months to really get something started. Maybe a little more, but I don't think so with if this continues like this. I really don't. It's pretty much it's do or die. We're in the Hunger Games in America right now, and it's do or die. You're either gonna do something or you're gonna die homeless in the street, and that's just the reality. And I'm not laughing about it. I'm just shell shocked. I guess you could say that's the word. I'm shell shocked. I'm I'm realizing the gravity of the situation. I am one of those people who wish I saw the writing on the wall a lot for us sooner, many years ago. But I didn't, and I'm paying the price for it, and a lot of people are paying the price for it right now. So get something started, get your ducks all lined up in a row, and figure out a way to escape the system. Because if you don't escape the system, if you don't figure out a way, it's over. Best case scenario, you're going to be a wage slave cuck for the rest of your life, working for pennies, living with 15, 20 roommates, if that's even going to be possible in the future. There's no future working for an employer anymore. There's none. There's no future. No future. It's not going to happen unless you're a top 2%, 5% maybe. It's just over. You're not going to outpace this inflation. I don't care how many jobs you have as an average person, even above average person, you're not going to outpace inflation. You're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to take care of your family in America. And not unless you're already uber wealthy, you're born into massive wealth. It's not going to happen. All your wealth is going to be eaten by inflation. You're going to either your job, the money you make at your job is going to be eaten up by inflation. Everything's going to be eaten up. So it's do or die right now. You have to decide. You have to decide what you want to do. You're either gonna lay down and die, or you're going to try to move forward, and you're going to say, look, this shit sucks ass. I know it sucks ass, but if I don't do something, then I'm going to spend the rest of my life suffering or worse. So, I don't know. This is just something I've been thinking about a lot lately. I've just been in a dark place. I know I make a lot of these videos, but I've been in the really dark place. I really have. Like, mentally, it's just, I that's what poverty does for you. It just brings you into a dark place you don't want to be in. Makes you think things that you just would rather not have thought about. So anyway, hope you liked this video. Sorry, I kind of went on a rant. It was a little long. Leave a like if you liked it. Put a comment down below. And think about what I said, guys. You're not going to have much time left going into 2026. So, that being said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. And heed my warning, because it's going to get really bad. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.
We have scholars like Richard de Wolf. We have scholars like Shahid Balson. We have scholars that I look, and many of them, there's one thing that cuts across. America is manufacturing scarcity. It's manufacturing poverty. It is not natural, because the gap between the top 1% and the bottom 99% keeps on going up. The margin is so big, right? And this tells you that it is about the elites. It's not about the citizens of the United States at the end of the day. And this is how it has always been for every American. And now they're trying to enter even in the middle class. They are killing the middle class America. They don't want nothing good to happen to those places. They don't want nothing great to happen when it comes to economic development. Because of the tariffs, the health, the food, the housing, name it all these things is happening, right? So the Hunger Games world is built on manufactured scarcity. The idea that people must fight for resources, even in the land that has plenty. Today in the US, anger, homelessness, and poverty are as the result of insufficient resources, but of deliberate policy choices. SNAP benefits have been cut, social protections have been weakened, and billionaires pay lower taxes. They pay lower tax rates than many workers. Food banks reports overwhelming demand, while supermarkets throw away tons of foods. The cruelty here is intentional. Starving people are easy to control, and a disparate population won't challenge their power structure. Political leaders are, political leaders use austerity as a weapon, creating crisis that forces people into survival mode. This mirrors the capital's logic. It keeps the district struggling, so they remain distracted and divided at the same time. And they do this by turning citizens into competitors instead of communities. Because when when the resources are scarce, people start competing for the limited resources. It creates chaos. It creates polarization, and this is what the elites want. They want you divided. And how will they divide you? They'll keep the necessary resources that you need to focus, to think. They'll keep them scarce so that you can start thinking about how you can get them instead of asking fundamental questions, instead of asking the questioning of how they keep on making people poor, right? So, one of those core themes of the Hunger Games is competition replacing community. The system forces young people to fight each other instead of joining hands together against the real enemy, that is the capital. The same dynamic is now playing out in America. Workers are pitted against immigrants, poor white against poor black, citizens against government aid recipients, instead of everyone uniting against the billionaire class shaping the policy. Social media intensifies this division by amplifying conflict and creating tribal identities. This strategy ensures that Americans blame each other, not the system, for their suffering. As long as people fight horizontally, no one challenges the vertical power holding them down. As long as people keep fighting horizontally, no one challenges the vertical power holding them down. I hope that sink in your mind. Also, something that I want to talk about, the spectacle of suffering as entertainment. The Hunger Games, the capital turns poverty, violence, and death into entertainment. In modern America, suffering is televised, monetized, and commodified. Homelessness becomes viral content, shooting becomes political sports, and economic struggle is transformed into reality show. Narratives of bootstrapping. Media corporations profit from sensationalizing pain rather than collective societal duty. It is not a coincidence that in times of growing hardship, the US has more podcasts, shows, and commentaries framed around disaster, collapse, and chaos. It made us the capital obsession with watching people struggle. Let's talk about oligarchic control and the capital class. Perhaps the most powerful element of the metaphor is the rise of real-life capital class. The billionaires and the corporations who shape national policy. In the movie, the capital controls everything: resources, media, laws, and even hope. Today, the US mirrors this reality. Corporations determined healthcare prices, billionaire fund selection, and media empires dictate narratives. This is what thinkers like Shahid Bolson describes the moral bankruptcy. A nation whose institutions are designed not for its people, but for the oligarchs. The elite live in a different economic universe. A universe, talk about private jets, gated communities, exclusive healthcare, while citizens face collapsing infrastructure, medical bankruptcy, hunger. This gap is so vast that it resembles two different countries. That's how it's vast. Also, the collapse of empathy and the rise of survival culture. Remember that in the Hunger Game universe, empathy collapses because the system rewards selfishness and punishes compassion. Today in America, survival culture is growing. People work multiple jobs just to afford food and rent. Neighbors are afraid to trust each other. Parents choose between medicine and meals. When basic needs are unfulfilled, empathy becomes a luxury. Society starts to feel cold, transactional, and violent. Crime increases because poverty increases. Fear rises because insecurity rises. This moral deterioration is a symptom of a nation where society feels safety nets have been stripped away and replaced with competition, punishment, and indifference. The emotional climate begins to resemble a dystopian arena. So you ask yourself, why does this metaphor resonate with what's happening today? The reason is, you see, the Hunger Games metaphorically resonates so strongly is because America can visibly see the society drifting towards authoritarianism, inequality, and collapse. The political system is paralyzed. The economy benefits the wealthy at the expense of everyone else, and the social fabric is tearing apart due to fear, scarcity, and mistrust. When leaders tell angry citizens, don't steal food because others deserve it more, it echoes the capital propaganda designed to morally shame the suffering while protecting the wealthy. People feel that America no longer guarantees dignity, security, or fairness, but instead, it resembles a survival arena where the only strongest, luckiest, or wealthiest make it out. The metaphor is not exaggeration, it is an alarm. It is an alarm bell signaling that the nation has entered a stage of engineered division, manufactured suffering, and elite dominance that made us dystopian function. So, brothers and sisters, please let me know what you feel and think about this video. As you know, I'm your host and presenter Agent Stories. But until then, I'm hoping to see you on my next video. So keep it real, keep it handle. I hope to see you on my next video. But until then, peace, love, and harmony. Salute.